Greetings, parents. This is Mary Keenley, principal of St. Teresa's School, and it is time for another parent update. I hope you are all enjoying this celebration of Advent as we anxiously await the coming of the Christ child in just a few weeks. This Sunday is the third Sunday of Advent, or Gaudete Sunday, Rejoicing Sunday, and you notice that the candle turns from purple to pink this Sunday. This is one of the big differences between Advent and Lent, is that we take a break during Advent and just get our wiggles out and celebrate. Sunday would be a great day for you to do something special with your family. Maybe after Mass you go for a special walk, or maybe you have pancakes or something fun to do with your family to rejoice and to let them know that the Christ child is coming. Is your house ready for Christmas? Is your manger scene set up? I hope so. It's a great way to start the celebration of Christmas. To start with, I want to talk with you a little bit about some things that are going on here at school. And first is the results of our first health and safety team overview. The health and safety team, again, remember, is the objective body that we put together in order to prevent us from drifting away from our procedures or from not noticing things that are changing. There are 3 parents and 1 staff member, and 1 is playing both roles on this team. For the past couple weeks, they have been surveying faculty. They have toured the building several times, and they have noted a number of recommendations. The first part of their report, though, was very exciting because, in their estimation, the procedures are being followed faithfully. So we're very glad that that was the case. They have made some recommendations on ways that we can ease the stress on our enrichment teachers. And remember, the enrichment teachers are the teachers that go through all the classrooms, kindergarten through 5th or sometimes 1st through 5th. And so they have a lot of load with them. They're living off of carts and changing from classroom to classroom. And they have a lot of demands on themselves. They are also streaming their classrooms, and so add that in as well. So they made some really nice recommendations on how to ease the stress on these teachers. They also made some recommendations regarding consistency and the communication. We'll talk about that in a minute. And they had some recommendations for me to remind you to make this situation work a little bit better and get us through this pandemic, which seems to be almost over. The first recommendation they had was regarding communication, and they asked if we could publish the document that we use to make our decisions regarding who gets quarantined and the like. Now remember, these are not our decisions actually. These are the decisions that are made by the COVID response team through the Archdiocese following the IDPH guidelines and then the internal flow chart. This is the local flow chart that we have, which is simply an easier translation of the IDPH one. I could share that with you as well if you would like, but it's pretty monstrous and I had a hard time getting through it. So we made our own. I will tell you one thing right away, is that although we follow this flowchart faithfully, there are exceptions to it based on interesting developments with cohorts. For example, if it occurs in a cohort, but that cohort was together over the weekend at a birthday party, then it does change the dynamic of our decisions. It can also change based on things outside of our control, decisions being made by the county, decisions being made by the Archdiocese or some other body. But generally speaking, these are the guidelines that we follow. This chart will be up on the website as well if you're that interested in it. And just remember that we use a 1, 2, 3 system. 1 is a person who's infected, 2 is somebody that has had close contact, and 3 is somebody who's had contact with a tube. Those are the categories of people that we are concerned about. All right, so here's that spreadsheet, and again, it will be up on our website as well if you're interested. Please remember, again, in all our policies and procedures, new scenarios appear for us and public policy is changing. For example, sometimes they are more rigorous, and sometimes, as you're seeing with the CDC, they are lessening some of the rigor. The rule that we have to follow, though, the rule from the IDPH and the rule from the Archdiocese, is that we always have to default to the most rigorous standard. And I'll give you an example of this. The CDC is changing its quarantine guidelines from 14 days to 10 days, and even to 7 days having to do with things of travel. However, our local IDPH guidelines are still saying 14 days. What is our rule? We default to the most rigorous standard, which is 14 days. Now, the upside of this is that we've been open without interruption for 75 days. That's 75 amazing days of school that we have had in person. A huge thanks to our faculty and staff who have put a lot on the line to make this happen for you. And of course, thanks to you and to the kids for following all the procedures, being so faithful, sending kids home, keeping kids home when they just have a sniffle or a little tummy ache or something, following the quarantine guidelines, informing us of what's going on. We are very grateful. You are part of this big 75 that we've accomplished. Now we just got to get through the next 5 days, and we're going to take a little break for Christmas, but we did it. We accomplished our goals way beyond what we really thought we could do. Like I've said before, we had these little goals that goal number 1 was to get in 2 weeks. Goal number 2 was to get 6 weeks. Goal number 3 was to get to Halloween. And goal number 4, which was the unimaginable, was to get all the way to Christmas. Well, here we are. Christmas is coming. We're still in school in person. Thanks for all you've done, and special thanks to our faculty and our staff. Couple little reminders that the team has asked me to give you, and then Mrs. Montre has asked as well, is just this travel reminder. I know it's a pain, and I know you're making really hard decisions for your family, but make the decisions. Go ahead and make them, and then just accept the consequences of them. This is life, and this is normal. It's all good. Remote learning is available to your child. If you're going to travel because you need to travel for your family, because sports are that important to your family, go ahead and do it. And then just report and quarantine, and we'll proceed and we'll get through this year together. Also, just a quick reminder, and actually you've been really great about this, but if your child's sick, please keep them home, even if in a normal year you would send them to school. And that's the sniffles, the little tummy aches, the little sore throats, that kind of thing. Please keep them home. It's even more urgent now in this last week because we want everybody to be happy and healthy for Christmas time. The final reminder that both the parents and the teachers and a number of people have asked is just this quick reminder to be nice. Stress levels are really, really high. First, we had the stress of COVID. Then we had the stressors caused by the election and the conflict and the disagreement caused by the election. And now we're entering into another stressful time where people disagree about who should be traveling, who should be gathering, whether or not the vaccine is good, a lot of stressors. But remember the lessons that Jesus taught us about being kind, being good. It's okay to argue, but you can be nice while you're doing it. And remember, too, that our whole country is built on civil disagreement. And the great thing of our Constitution, that miracle of that document of creating this one nation under God, occurred because of civil disagreement. That we were able to argue with each other, to disagree, to come to agreement and compromise. So let's model, obviously modeling our Lord and even modeling our nation. Let's be nice. Go ahead and disagree, but let's do it like adults. Let's do it civilly and be kind. And this includes social media as well. Let's be nice to each other. Let's make that commitment and really speak kind words and kind concepts to everyone. Now, a little bit of an update on what's going on regarding remote learning in January. First of all, regarding COVID over break, if you are confirmed positive at any point over Christmas break, starting in the afternoon of December 18th through January 4th, you have to report the positive case. If you are just testing or you've been exposed, you do not need to report that over break. But if you are confirmed positive, you've tested positive with the PCR, you do have to inform school of this. The reason is that you've been in contact with the rest of the school community within that 14-day window. So please, if you happen to fall positive during break, do send us an email. If you have had a close exposure or a presumptive positive, you're testing because you think you're positive, you have to report this starting on January 5th. And the reason for that is that then we have a 14-day window going the other direction. So only confirmed positives over Christmas break, but you have to add in confirmed positives plus close exposure plus presumptive positives starting on January 5th. And then just a quick reminder that you have to be back in Illinois by January 4th in order to participate in school on January 19th. If you are choosing to extend your vacation through the remote learning period, you have to notify us, because then you will have to quarantine for 14 days following your return to Illinois, same as usual. Again, anything you need to report, please email Mrs. Montre. Please copy Ms. Keenley. We're going to be tag teaming checking emails over break, and we will take care of all the reporting on that for you. If you have any questions about this right now, please reach out to Mrs. Montre. Regarding remote learning itself, you already should have in your possession a schedule of your remote learning from your teacher that went out a couple weeks ago, and it's going out a second time in a repeat play this week. Or I'm sorry, take that back. Next week, you're getting a second copy of all that information. You should also have instructions from your teacher on Google Meet, everybody, Seesaw in preschool through 3rd grade, and Google Classroom on 4th through 8th grade. The younger grades all should have had a sample meet with their homeroom teachers. I'm hearing they went very well and very well attended, so that you get a little taste of what it's going to be like in January. If you do not have the schedules, if you do not have the instructions for Google Meet and for Seesaw or Google Classroom, I encourage you to reach out to your child's homeroom teachers so that they can send those to you. Again, it will be sent out again next week, but if you're confused, if you don't understand what the schedule is, if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, don't wait until January. Please reach out right now so that things can be clarified. This is a lot, and so clarifying now is a really great idea. Things that are going to be happening now going forward. On Friday, December 18th, your child will be bringing his or her classroom materials home. This will be things like textbooks and even pencil cases, things that your child will need to learn during those 2 weeks of remote after Christmas. We are going to be sending them home with the kids. If you would rather that your child not bring them home on the bus or when they get picked up, there will be a separate parent pickup between 2 and 3 o'clock at door 1 on Friday, December the 18th. Now here's the catch. You have to notify your child's homeroom teacher to bring their bag to door 1. If you don't notify, the bag will not be at door 1 when you come to pick up. So please, the materials will go home with your child unless you email your child's homeroom teachers. And if you do that, then the bag will be at door 1 between 2 and 3 o'clock on Friday, December 18th. I will be there. I'll get that bag into the car for you, and off you can go. Christmas break will start promptly at 1:30 p.m. on Friday, December 18th, and it will run through Monday, January 4th. Again, remember, there is no school on Monday, January the 4th. Remote learning will begin on Tuesday, January the 5th, and run through Friday, January the 15th. And we will be returning to in-person learning on Tuesday, January 19th. Remember, there is no school on Monday, January 18th, in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. Okay? Any questions about these dates or this information, please reach out to your child's homeroom teacher. Regarding the devices that your child will need to learn on, the 6th through 8th graders will be bringing home their assigned device. They've already been checked out to your child. We will remind your child, but please you remind your child as well that they also need to bring home the power cord to the device. Otherwise, after about 1 day, you're going to have an issue. Those will go home automatically. K through 5th grade, attached to this email that you received this video on, is a device survey. The device survey is going to ask you 3 questions. You do not need a device. You can get by but would really like one if there's an extra one, or you absolutely have to have one in order to complete remote learning. Once we get those, we will start assigning the available devices from 5th grade on down. Ironically, we just found out that our brand new devices, which would have solved this whole problem, are coming. Would anyone like to guess? Yes, Tuesday or Wednesday, January 19th or 20th, right when we return from remote learning. But either way, we'll get through this and we will have the new devices at least for the second half of the school year. If you were thinking about it anyway, a Chromebook device would make an excellent Christmas gift for your child, especially if your child is about 3rd grade or up. If you're looking for specifications, Either the processors work on AMD or on Intel. You want at least 4 megabytes of RAM on your device, and we've had a lot of luck with the Lenovo's and with the HP devices. Oddly, Walmart's got some nice sales on devices right now. They will all work for remote learning. They won't work for gaming if that price point is lower. They won't work real well with gaming, but they'll work great for the simple actions of remote learning, both on a Chromebook and on a PC. If you have any questions about this or want some more advice on what to buy, please reach out to Mr. Tuntlin, and he'll help you out with that decision. Because we're ending this first part of the year and we're heading into the back part of the year, we are very much making preparations for the 2021-22 school year, which will be virus-free and mask-free, God willing. As is our procedure, we will do automatic re-enrollment on January 5th. Unless you say otherwise, your child will be re-enrolled at St. Teresa School on January 5th. Obviously, the 8th graders will be enrolled in their new high schools, not in St. Teresa School. You will be billed a registration fee of $125 per student. It will hit your smart accounts on February 17th. So automatic re-enrollment, unless you tell us otherwise, on January 5th. Registration fee will be billed. It'll hit your accounts on February 17th. Financial assistance will also open on January 5th. However, as in previous years, you remember you have to apply for a tax credit scholarship, and this opens at 7 o'clock on January 13th. More will be coming on that. Also coming in a separate presentation will be the report on the new tuition rates for next year in the context of an annual report. That will be coming out on first thing on Monday morning for you to see independently. So automatic re-enrollment on January 5th, financial assistance also opens up on January 5th. Tax credit scholarship is required in order to apply for financial assistance on January 13th, and our annual report will be out on Monday, which will include the new tuition rates. So, as we're getting closer to the end of my presentation and we're getting closer to Christmas time. Next week, we will have a regular class schedule. The week will end on Friday with dismissal with the school bags for kids to take their stuff home for remote learning. Kindergarten through 8th grade will be picked up at their regular dismissal time at 1:30. Preschool will be picked up a smidge earlier at 1:45, kind of the same way we did Thanksgiving. The building will actually be closing once preschool walks out the door, and there will be no step or after school activities so that everyone can begin their Christmas breaks. Advent prayer, unfortunately, will not be live. It'll be on YouTube, just like Thanksgiving prayer was, and that'll be available to you. The link will be sent to you. If you have questions about how to approach gift giving, given all the restrictions that we have because of COVID, please reach out to your parent, room parent. They will have the recommendations from the Parent Association, who is coordinating teachers' gifts for us. Thank you for thinking of the teachers, especially this year. It is unbelievable how hard they have worked and what they have sacrificed, because this is what is best for kids. The parish has a full schedule of Christmas Mass in the church and also secondary sites in the gym. In order to double the capacity, they're going to have a separate Mass in the gym. 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve, midnight Mass, traditional, which will be live streamed, and Christmas Day Masses at 8, 10, and then 2 Masses at noon, one in the church and one in the gym. Please remember that you do need to register for these Masses. Just hop onto the St. Teresa Church website and just click on the link Christmas Mass, and you'll be able to register and get your seats for these Masses. What a weird thing this is, isn't it? But that's the way it's working right now. I hope you can come to Mass in person and give thanks to the Lord for his birth and for all the good things that we've had, despite all the COVID-ness. Cool little development, too, is that it appears that the traditional Christmas star or Bethlehem Star will be showing this year as well. It hasn't happened in 800 years. And what this is a juxtaposition of Saturn and Jupiter that causes a bright light in the sky, which looks like a star. It isn't really a star, but it looks like a star. And there's reason to believe that back in what they think was maybe about 2 BC or so, which we call 0, when Jesus was born, that this is what the Magi saw. These scientists, the Magi, saw this star, and the star was an indication of a king, the king of Israel. And so they were following the star to find this king of Israel. And where did it lead them? It led them to Bethlehem, to the real king, our Lord born in the stable. So this is the tradition behind this star. It's a true astronomical reality. And it's kind of cool. So if you go on any of the websites, NASA has it and National Geographic has it, and you can learn a little bit more about the Bethlehem Star, which will be viewable in the Chicago sky on December the 21st. Also, as we begin the celebration of Christmas, there's this cool thing happening throughout the nation, and that on 6 p.m. on December 24th, people are going to ring bells, ringing in the birth of Christ. Odie Christus natus est. Today, Christ is born. So think about it. What a fun way to start the Christmas celebration. 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve, getting out on the porch and ringing a bell or banging a pot or playing a ringtone on your device, celebrating the birth of Jesus and the birth of a brand new year, a brand new time in our history. So from all of us, and especially from me, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I look forward to seeing you in person, I hope very soon, as the progress of the vaccine moves forward. Have a great holiday, time with your family if that works out for you. And I look forward to seeing you all remotely the first 2 weeks of January, and then back here in person on January the 19th. Merry Christmas, everyone.